11th. By the way, tonight, President Biden makes his first national address as president, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming up live on my show, Michelangelo Signorelli and Jess McIntosh are going to join me as well to cover it. So today, looking back 1 year ago is when the pandemic was declared, when the closure happened. And when you think of all the lies that Donald Trump spewed, the big question I have is, why is Donald Trump not charged with manslaughter, if not murder? Why is that not talked about every single day in the media? I talked about it before on my show. I've written about it. It's absolutely wrong. Donald Trump intentionally lied. People died. He should be charged with manslaughter, period. But I want to talk about something else today, something truly alarming for those people who believe in freedom and liberty. In Arkansas, the Republicans there this week, while other Republicans are trying to cancel the right to vote, well, in Arkansas, they're trying to cancel women's right to control their own body. Literally, they passed a law that was signed by Governor Hutchinson on Tuesday that bans abortion except when the life of the mother is at risk. Meaning that if you are raped in Arkansas, you are forced to carry the rapist baby to term. And if anybody helps you try to abort that baby, it's a felony. So you're committing a felony if you try to get rid of a rapist child inside of you. And same thing, if you're a victim of incest, same thing. You can't, it's illegal. It's illegal to terminate that pregnancy, illegal. And what's even more extreme is in Arkansas, a father has visitation rights for a baby, including a rapist, until he is convicted in a criminal court of rape. It has to be rape. It can't be a lesser charge like sexual assault. It must be rape. And here's the thing. Nationally, only about 1% to 2% of all cases involving rape, there's actually a criminal conviction. Meaning in Arkansas, a woman can be raped by a family member and has to carry that rapist's baby to term, and then that rapist will have visitation rights to show up over and over again and traumatize the woman over and over again. But that's what the GOP is worried about. That's what they're focused on right now in the middle of a pandemic. Oppression of women. And if you read the bill they passed, Senate Bill 5, they literally quote and cite cases dealing with civil rights for African Americans, like Dred Scott decision, which said black people, even freed slaves, had no rights, and Plessy versus Ferguson, which upheld Jim Crow laws. And these Arkansas Republicans claim, they cite them in the law as reasoning why they have to get rid of Roe v. Wade, because it's the same bad reasoning, and they are saying the same thing. It's a crime against humanity. Of course, Arkansas was a slave state, which had Jim Crow laws. So these same conservatives now who are using these civil rights cases to say things are wrong, you got to change it, would have no doubt defended Dred Scott and Plessy versus Ferguson if they were around at that time, because that's what conservatives did. There's no limit. And yes, I know everyone's going to say, well, the ACLU is filing a lawsuit. That they are. And will this be held up, an injunction temporarily? Probably, because it clearly violates the current case law, which is Casey versus Planned Parenthood, more than Roe versus Wade. But they're looking for the test case. They're looking for the case. It goes to the Supreme Court, and the 6-3 radical right Supreme Court finally ends the idea of a federal mandate saying that you can't infringe on a woman's right to control her own body in undue burdens, essentially for the first trimester. They want to overturn it. They want to go back to states. So slave states like Arkansas, Jim Crow states like Arkansas, can impose laws mandating on a woman. And here's the hypocrisy. The very same Republican members of the legislature who championed this bill spoke out and denounced the mask mandate that the governor put in place, calling it a threat to freedom. So to them, having to wear a cloth on your face when you're inside was infringing on their freedom. It was overburdensome. It was fascism. But literally mandating, forcing a woman who was raped to carry a rapist baby in her. So every day she's reminded about that. And worse, if that rapist is not convicted, that rapist will have visitation rights in Arkansas. That's not oppression. That's their idea of freedom. How scary is that? Freedom to them is the freedom to kill others by not wearing a mask, and freedom from them is oppressing women and canceling their right to control their own body. And here's probably even the worst part. This is not the end. The GOP is getting worse. GOP pro-life groups, or pro-death groups we should call them, are advocating now to even get rid of the exception for the life of the mother. Because there used to be about 3 exceptions: rape, incest, life of the mother. Well, the GOP is now on board with forcing women to carry a rapist baby, forcing women to carry a baby that was essentially going to be rape anyway when it's incest, and now for the life of the mother. And you might say, how do they do that? Well, their point of view is it's not for them to choose which life will live. It's up to God. So they can't choose between the mother or the fetus. So you can't terminate the pregnancy to save the life of a mother, whatever God wills. So whoever dies, so be it. In fact, if you think this is radical, it's not. Congressman Bob Good, Virginia, just got elected. His first term in the House, he supports this. You're going to see more Republicans move in this direction. The GOP never becomes more reasonable. They become more extreme. You see that, again, with this abortion. It went from 3 exceptions down to 1. That's going to be gone. Their goal is to oppress women around the nation. There are no exceptions for abortion whatsoever. You know, I'm Muslim. If Muslims were trying to do this, they would say it's somehow Islamic Sharia law. They were trying to impose Sharia law on people. No, this is Christian Sharia law. Sharia is Arabic word for path, as in path to God. What they're doing is they are mandating their own path to God, their own perversion of their faith, their perversion of the teachings of Jesus Christ, their perversions, and saying our path to God, in our view, we are now going to make the law for everyone. It doesn't matter what your religious faith is, because Jews and Muslims and various sects of Christianity do not subscribe to life begins at conception. Doctors don't subscribe to that either. At least most of them don't, unless you're one of these right-wing extremists. So these are things quietly going on. Well, we've got the big thing with COVID. We have Joe Biden giving a speech today. We have a stimulus plan that passed. It's going to help Americans. 70+% of Americans support it, except not one Republican in Congress, because the billionaires in Congress, the GOP elite, don't care about the working class. They care about freedom. And freedom to them is oppression to you, putting you in jail if you refuse to carry a rapist baby. That's the Republican Party. Can we ever allow them to take power again on a federal level? Do we need any more of a motivation to get rid of the filibuster and reform the Supreme Court so radicals on the Supreme Court cannot make this the law of the land? Do you need any more proof, any more evidence? Because what's next to the GOP? What else will they impose by the Bible? From the Bible, in Deuteronomy, it says if a woman is not a virgin on her wedding night, she shall be brought to her father's door and stoned to death. Is that next? In Timothy, in the New Testament, it says a woman should learn in silence. Will they make that a law in the future? Women, you must be in silence. You can never teach a man. There are so many things they can turn into law from their perversion of the teachings of Jesus Christ, which his teachings were about love and compassion. They are the opposite. We'll talk about that more on my show tonight. If you lead up to the big speech tonight at 8 p.m., my show's live, SiriusXM channel 127, 6 to 9 p.m. If you don't subscribe to SiriusXM, go to the website. There's free trials. Check it out. Love to have you join us. Love to have you call in. Be a part of our family. We've got a lot of work to do. If you want progress, stay active. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's